Saudi Arabia's King Salman is skipping President Barack Obama's Camp David talks. Many believe this shows Saudi Arabia's dissatisfaction with America's Iran deal. Professor David Elcott is a Middle East scholar at New York University, and he's joining us here in our New York studio. Professor Elcott, welcome to Arise America. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
First of all, what do we make of this snub? How consequential is this?
Oh, it's not consequential at all. It's part of the game that's going to take place. He's not the only one not coming. The other leaders of the sheikdoms are not showing, but on the other hand, who they're sending are high-powered individuals with great capacity to be able to make decisions. So clearly the team in Saudi Arabia decided they want to make a point.
They do want to make a point, and that is that they're dissatisfied with some of the terms of the deal that the U.S. is trying to make with Iran. Here's my question, and please help me with whether or not this is something I need to be fixated on. The Iranian deal, or the deal that's being worked on, has been going on for months and months and months, and some would say years and years and years. What changed between Friday and Monday when the king decided that he would not come?
Well, you're assuming that he didn't decide he wasn't going to come earlier and just decided to make it public at this moment. The reality is, we're watching a play taking place in which everyone knows their parts, they know their roles. The United States is in an untenable position. It needs to find a way to ensure that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. It needs to find a way to make sure that Saudi Arabia, Israel, Jordan feel secure. It needs a way to prevent ISIS and other radical Islamic groups from taking over countries. It needs to do all of that, and at the same time, it supports human rights and civil rights, and those countries don't exactly reflect those types of values.
I think it was you that I read that was quoted as saying this could very well be a blessing in disguise.
It is what it is. President Obama will have to deal for the rest of his administration with this type of failure to be able to implement the policies that America believes should be implemented. He's in a long tradition. We've not been successful in affecting real change in the Middle East for generations. Nothing new here.
Yeah, indeed. And this is not your quote, but I love this quote. It comes from an Iran expert at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace, saying there's a growing perception at the White House that the U.S. and Saudi Arabia are friends but not allies, while the U.S. and Iran are allies but not friends. Is that how you see it shaking out?
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think that this fluctuates. If you read the diplomatic interchanges from 3,000 years ago, 3,500 years ago, you'll see the same type of maneuvering taking place. This is a long, long story, and we have no reason to presume that what we're looking at now is the final act. It's not even in the middle of the play yet. So Iran is complicated. It's not going to be an ally or a friend, although we may find ourselves aligned, for example, right now in Iraq and Syria, trying to stop ISIS. Saudi Arabia and the United States are not really allies and friends in the sense that Saudi Arabia is the major source of extreme Islamic training around the world. They build the schools that, in many cases, have brought out the radicals that are attacking us. Complicated, right?
Complicated indeed, and I think it's only fair to point out that the Emirati president is not coming because of health reasons, as well as the Sultan of Oman not coming because of health reasons.
Right now, just about nobody of the top looks like they're coming. Perhaps Kuwait will be there, but like I said...
Does this present, let me ask you this, does this present any pressure on the United States to adjust anything, to capitulate in any way?
No. What it does do is further undermine President Obama in his ability to be able to maneuver in the Middle East. That's all. But the United States has been constricted. We tried massive attack, Afghanistan, Iraq, Afghanistan being a peripheral state, Iraq smack in the middle, and we failed. We are trying to do something in Syria, but the reality is that's been stalemated with unbelievable losses. Now it's the same in Yemen. Libya was the same case. It's just further reminding us that unless you're a massive empire, that you're willing to put in huge amounts of money and troops. The Middle East is not going to be tamed by any power, even one as powerful as the United States.
And it's important to also mention, I believe Saudi Arabia wants a defense treaty with the United States, as the United States has with Japan, which doesn't seem likely. Do you see the relationship eroding?
Again, Saudi Arabia can't exist without the United States. It's our largest recipient of weapons. I mean, they buy more weapons than any other nation in the world. We are hooked at we're linked at the hips over oil, over the countries that surround Saudi Arabia. No, there's no place that it could go that would allow it to change policies in a radical way.
Yeah, and yet we do have some weapons that are not available to them, like the F-35.
True enough,
Yeah.
but these aren't issues that are necessary for Saudi Arabia. And as I said, it's the largest purchaser of U.S. weapons. We have actually, against often Israel or Congress's will, we've provided them weapons that they've asked for. They're not hurting for the ability to defend themselves.
All right, David Elcott, nice to speak with you. Thank you very
Super.
much. Appreciate it.